Hi, I'm Alyiah Aziz, and you're watching A News Weekend. Here are the headlines. South Korea's President Yoon impeached after failed attempt to impose martial law. Georgia holds presidential elections amid protests. Mikhail Kavelashvili becomes president of the country. Over 1.1 million Syrians displaced since late November amid severe humanitarian crisis. South Korea's President Yoon Suk-yeol was impeached on Saturday in a vote triggered after his fleeting failed attempt to impose martial law in early December. A presidential election must be held within 60 days if the incumbent is dismissed or resigns.
South Korea's opposition-led parliament impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol on Saturday, voting to suspend him from his official duties over his short-lived attempt last week to impose martial law. Protesters gathered outside South Korea's National Assembly early today, demanding accountability from President Yoon Suk-yeol. The controversy erupted after President Yoon attempted to impose martial law on December the 3rd, a move he rescinded just 6 hours later. However, it has thrown the country into a constitutional crisis. In a speech on Thursday, Yoon defended his actions, calling the decree necessary to overcome political deadlock and safeguard the nation's democracy. Despite his justifications, critics accuse him of abusing his power and violating the law. At the same time, today, a pro-Yoon protest has taken place in Seoul to show support for the embattled president.
And now to the regional news. Georgia has elected its next president, Mikhail Kavelashvili, a former soccer player and prominent figure in Georgian politics, will take office later this month. Mikhail Kavelashvili won 224 out of 300 electoral votes, becoming Georgia's 6th president. His inauguration is set for December 29. Backed by the ruling Georgian Dream Party, Kavelashvili is known for his anti-Western statements. The role of the Georgian president is largely symbolic, with limited powers such as issuing pardons and vetoing laws. He succeeds Salome Zurabichvili, who has criticized the government for stalling EU accession efforts. Over 1.1 million Syrians have been displaced since November 27, according to the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. Civilians, including women and children, are sheltering in temporary centers and are reportedly facing severe food shortages and movement restrictions.
1.1 million displaced Syrian civilians are reported to be under tough conditions. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs reports that nearly 640,000 of the displaced fled from Aleppo province, 334,000 from Idlib province, and 136,000 from Hama province. These areas are facing great challenges which deprive civilians from their basic needs. Northern Aleppo is facing severe food shortage along with insufficient water supplies, leaving people desperate of two key resources for survival. Bakeries are shutting down due to a severe shortage of flour. Power outages are frequent, leaving thousands without basic needs and leading the already fragile area to a bigger desperation. Meanwhile, in Damascus, the country's capital, uncertainty is growing. Currency depreciation, surging food prices, and the collapse of transportation systems have worsened the situation of residents. Carl Scow, Deputy Executive Director of the UN World Food Programme, warned in an interview that Syria might face enormous humanitarian needs in the near future, adding that the UN's focus will shift towards supporting Syria's recovery and reconstruction in the coming days.
Once an exclusive retreat for Syria's most powerful family, the Assad summer resort now lies open to civilians, offering a glimpse into a past that many are eager to leave behind.
Syrian civilians visited what was once the Assad family's exclusive summer resort, following the toppling of Bashar al-Assad after a 54-year rule and a 13-year civil war. The resort, located in Burj Islam, features a white villa with balconies overlooking the Mediterranean, a private beach, gardens and walking paths now reduced to shattered glass and damaged interiors. A citizen who cycled 40 kilometers from Latakia expressed his emotions.
I can't explain how this is. It's enjoyable. I think I feel freedom for the first time in my life. I can't believe my eyes. They built something we didn't see in all my life, our life in Syria. You know, did you see the streets in Syria? All are bad.
Displaced Syrian Turkmen forced out when the resort was built 50 years ago walked through the site for the first time.
A few hours after Assad fell, we came in. We don't want these views, these beautiful places, to be damaged.
The resort, once a secluded space of power for Syria's ruling family, now lies abandoned, its ruins reflecting the profound changes sweeping through the country.
An American, Travis Timmerman, was recently found in Syria after months of being unaccounted for. His parents are relieved and overjoyed by the news, while U.S. officials try to bring him home.
Call you Travis. Okay.
Travis.
Where were you?
Parents of Travis Timmerman, an American recently found in Syria after being missing for 7 months, are relieved and grateful to hear he's alive. The 29-year-old identified himself in videos posted online after he was freed from a prison following the ousting of Syria's president, Bashar al-Assad.
My name is Travis.
Travis.
Yes.
So, إذا وصلنا إلى شخص يدعى Travis Timmerman.
That's right.
That's right.
But just Travis. Just call me Travis.
Yeah, call you Travis.
That's
Okay.
Travis.
Where were you all this time?
I was imprisoned in Damascus for the last 7 months.
Travis's parents described the moment they confirmed that he was alive and expressed gratitude about the discovery.
Thank God he's alive.
Yeah.
Thank God. I think God was with him.
I was looking at the videos. I'm like, yes, it's him. So excited.
Yes.
I just started bawling.
Even his brothers and his sisters excited too. So
It's like the best Christmas present ever.
The gardeners also reflected on Travis's achievements before his disappearance and questioned why he went to Syria.
I'm very proud of him. And he's a smart kid. He had his finance degree and he went to law school
Pass the bar.
but I just don't understand why he went over there. But I guess I will never find out. I mean, I'll probably find out, but when he gets home.
You're wringing his neck. What were you thinking?
You know, he was just joking.
Like, what were you thinking?
Meanwhile, U.S. officials are working to bring Travis Timmerman back to the United States. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken confirmed the efforts, providing an update on the ongoing situation in Syria.
In terms of an American citizen who was found just today, I can't give you any details on exactly what's going to happen except to say that we're working to bring him home, to bring him out of Syria.
The U.S. is continuing its efforts to bring Travis Timmerman back home, while also working on locating other Americans missing in Syria, including journalist Austin Tice, who has been missing for over a decade.
France woke up on Saturday to a new prime minister. President Emmanuel Macron appointed François Bayrou after his predecessor Michel Barnier was ousted by Parliament.
François Bayrou accepted the position of Prime Minister on Friday, over a week after former Prime Minister Michel Barnier was pushed out following a no-confidence vote in the National Assembly. He was opting to bypass Parliament to push through a contentious social security budget. Bayrou's priority will be to steer the country out of its political crisis and negotiate with the opposition to agree on the 2025 budget. The 73-year-old acknowledged the difficulty of the task.
I believe that this question of deficit and debt is a question which poses a moral problem, not just a financial one, but a moral one, because getting rid of burdens by passing them on to your children in countries like ours, with our mountain villages and rooted communities, it is very badly seen. Faced with such a serious situation, my course of action will be to hide nothing, neglect nothing, and leave nothing aside.
Meanwhile, some local residents are expressing disappointment over French President Emmanuel Macron's latest pick.
Honestly, it's really nothing new. It really seems like it's the old resumes being brought back. It's super disappointing. I think it's very disappointing because we really expected something different from the part of the president, rather than putting a series of old men as head of the French government, as prime minister. So yes, it is a big disappointment.
I was expecting former Prime Minister Bernard Cazeneuve. It's not a surprise, so it follows the same trajectory from past years since Macron arrived at the Elysee Palace. It's not a good surprise, but it's not maybe the worst that we could have expected, considering how politics is veering to the right.
Francois Bayrou is Macron's fourth prime minister this year. It remains to be seen whether the new appointee can survive until at least July 2025, which is the earliest possible date to hold fresh legislative elections.
As the year wraps up, France finds itself at a political and economic crossroads. After Michel Barnier's government collapsed following the no-confidence vote, political divisions deepened.
France is facing a political crisis that could have far-reaching consequences for the Eurozone. Marine Le Pen's far-right party has gained traction, posing a serious challenge to President Emmanuel Macron's government. The rise of populism and increasing discontent with Macron's economic reforms have shaken France's political stability, with implications for the European Union. Le Pen's national rally is polling at around 25 to 30%, while Macron's Renaissance party struggles to maintain its support base. Disapproval of Macron's pension reforms has further fueled political tensions, with protests erupting across France. France approaches a political and economic crossroads as 2024 ends, following the collapse of Michel Barnier's government after a no-confidence vote. Appointed in September to address the deficit crisis, Barnier's tenure was marred by backlash to austerity measures, including tax hikes and spending cuts. His efforts to reduce the €3.2 trillion debt and comply with EU fiscal rules failed amid fierce opposition from Marine Le Pen's national rally and far-left factions. Macron appointed Barnier to stabilise the situation, but his budget bypassed parliamentary debate, fueling discontent. France's deficit rose to 5.5% of GDP in 2023 due to massive pandemic-related spending, prompting the European Commission to place it under scrutiny. The EU requires a deficit under 3% for financial stability. With the 2024 deficit projected at 6.1%, Barnier proposed a budget of €40 billion in cuts and €20 billion in tax hikes to reduce the deficit to 5% by 2024-2025. While this plan satisfies Brussels, it remains unpopular within France. Now, France faces rising bankruptcies, inflation, and a fiscal outlook, with Moody's warning of broader risks to the Eurozone.
In Qatar, the Freestyle Kite World Championship was held this week at the feuerated Kite Beach. The event marks the third and final stop of the season, crowning Maxime Chablos as men's world champion and seeing Bruna Kajia leading in the female division.
Switzerland's Maxime Chablos landed his first world title during this week's Freestyle Kite World Championship in Qatar. The win, assisted by his backmob move, helped him secure a second-place finish in the competition, just behind German teenager Finn Flugel. However, Chablos managed enough points over the season's 3 competitions to claim the overall prize. He says this win is something he's dreamed of since he was 7 and calls it a sweet victory. Francis Arthur Gilbert finished second on the world stage, with Flugel coming in third and scooping his first World Cup win. Meanwhile, Brazil's Bruna Kajia dominated the women's competition, securing the top spot for the day and the overall championship. The Brazilian has won all 3 events of the season and claims her 5th world title.
Celebrations are lighting up in Saudi Arabia as the country gears up to host the 2034 FIFA World Cup. The announcement sparked joy and pride across the country, marking a historic milestone for the kingdom.
In Riyadh, the Middle East Music Festival became the heart of the celebrations. Fireworks lit up the night sky as revelers cheered and danced to the beats. Brazilian football icon Neymar, now playing in the Saudi Pro League, joined the festivities, adding to the excitement on stage. Former Saudi player Yasser Al-Ghattani, attending the event, expressed confidence with a bold promise about the upcoming tournament.
I think from the beginning, Saudi show how we are different than others. We will be the best World Cup in the history, believe me.
Saudi Arabia is set to become the second Middle Eastern nation to host the prestigious event, following Qatar's successful 2022 tournament. With its ambitious vision and growing sports infrastructure, the kingdom aims to deliver an unforgettable World Cup experience.
In Italy, the city of Rome has embraced this festive season as the country prepares for the Jubilee year, set to begin on Christmas Eve. This year's festive theme highlights sustainability and is expressed in the eco-friendly decorations in the city center.
The festive season is here, and it's all sparkling lights in Italy's capital, Rome, as the city gears up for the Jubilee year. This year's decorations take on the theme of sustainability. Low consumption lights and minimal CO2 emissions define the project. Under the night sky, the street of Via del Corso transforms into a 2-kilometer-long canopy of lights. The display features 49 water drop motifs, symbolizing the importance of this universal resource, and luminous globes representing global unity and solidarity, a nod to the Jubilee's themes of hope and togetherness. This year's centerpiece is a towering fair from Lombardy. Approximately 5,000 people gathered to witness the tree's inaugural lighting.
That's all from us here in Baku for now. Thank you, and keep watching Gay News.